Hi everyone, we are back with the inside of our flower through lattice pattern sewn together. So we have sewn our larger sashings in between our blocks and our rows, and we've put the first border around our quilt. We are now ready to do the piecing for the outside border, which is going to be our final border for this pattern. So to do that, we're going to go back to my cutting station. So for this part of the quilt, you're going to pull out the bag that has your border pieces in it, and we're going to sort those out. So in your bag, you should have we had cut 2 borders off of each panel. So we're going to look at right side border is going to be in one pile. This is also right side, but you can see here that it's 2 different panels, panel 1 and 3, but they're both right side borders. So we're going to put those together. You're going to have your left side pieces, your bottom pieces, and your 2 top pieces. So you're going to have two strips for each border. So I'm just going to put all of them aside except for my top, which is what we're going to start with. So when we're going to be working with the borders, we're going to be working on page 8 of the pattern. So you can see here you've got your panel 3 top border and panel 4 top border. Those are these 2 pieces right here. So one of them has the circle just like it is here, and the other one has the square. I used green instead of yellow because we couldn't see the yellow when I was tagging them. So we're going to take those 2 pieces, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut 6-inch pieces all the way across this strip. So I'm just going to lay my strips down just like they are in the picture. So in the picture we have, when we label these, we labeled them with the tag in a specific spot. It was either at the top or the bottom of your strip. So for the panel 4 top border with the square, it should be at your left side. And for the top border panel 3 with the red circle, it should be on your right side. So we're going to want to cut our squares across each of these strips, and I'm just going to grab my square to do this. So we're cutting 6 inches across. And what we're going to do as we're going here is we're going to label. So you're going to get some labels ready. So we need numbers 11 down to 17. And 21 down to 26. Okay, so I've got those labels ready to go. And as I'm cutting, I'm going to label my pieces. So we're doing the square strip first. And if you need to, you can just give that a press before you start. So I'm just going to take this. I'll leave this here for now. I'm just going to remove my pin. And we're going to cut 6 inches across. I'm just going to make sure that I am square. So I'm a little bit off. So I'm actually going to just put my 6-inch line at the bottom, and it's going to be a little bit wider here, but that's fine. I'm just going to turn it around and re-square it once I cut my first, because you're just going to have enough here. You don't have a lot of room to play with. We're going to need every piece of these strips, so you're not going to be wanting to cut off an inch anywhere off of these. So I'm just going to cut a 6-inch piece off of my first one. And just to square it off, I'm just going to turn it around and just do that again, just a sliver trim. that little piece that was a little bit bigger. Okay, so we've got, that one was our first cut, and that's going to be piece 21. And I'm just going to give this a quick press here. Alright, so I'm just going to keep cutting 6 inches all the way across. That one's going to be 22. And this last one should be a 6-inch piece. And it is. Okay, and that's going to be 26. So those are that's our first strip. So I'm just going to move those up here. And now we're going to cut across our panel 3 top border with the red dot. And again, I'm just going to give this a press before I get started here. All right, so 6 inches. So these should be fairly square. This one is. So 6 inches. So that one's going to be 17. So at this point we can remove these labels that we had for panel 3 and panel 4 top border. So now what we're going to do is we're going to sew those together into our top border. So we're just going to take 11 and 21 and we're going to sew those together. Then we're going to do a 12. So I'm just going to lay them out like this here. So 12, and then 22, then 13, then 23, then 14, 24, 15, 25, 16, and 26. 17 is going to go on our, yeah, that one's going to go on to here, 17. So now we're just going to sew those together and then we will move on to the next border. So you're just using a regular 1/4 inch for this. I'm just going to move this up a little bit. So I'm just taking my 11 and my 21 and I'm going to sew those together, then I'll just keep sewing all my pieces to 17. So you can just chain sew some of these. So I put my 11 and 21 together. I'll put my 12 and 22 together. All right, now that we've got those pairs sewn together, I'm just gonna cut my thread and cut those apart. And 17 actually is gonna get sewn onto our side border, so we're just gonna leave that one up at the top here for right now. So I'm just gonna cut these apart. And we'll just put them back in order again. So we wanna have 11 and 21. So 11 and 21. We got 12, 22, 13, 23, 14, 24, 15, 26, and 16, 26. So make sure your numbers are all right side up, that you don't turn them upside down. So I'm going to take my 11, 21 and sew that to my 12, 22. So now I'm going to sew my 11 to 22 to my 13 to 24. So that's going to, 13 to 24 is going to go on top. We're going to sew that together. Last section is going to go on the end, so your 24 is getting hooked to your 15. Okay, so now this is our top border. So this one is ready to press, and I'm going to go do that on my big table after I'm done showing you what to do here, and then sew it to the top of my quilt. So I'm just going to fold this and put it to the side, and I'm just going to continue building my border. So we're going to continue with our we'll do our right side, sorry. We're just going to go right around the quilt here. So right side should be your yellow dot circle and your red star. So again, you're going to lay this out so that your dot is on the left hand side and your star is going to be on the right hand side. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to get our labels ready, and then we're going to cut 6-inch squares all the way across. So for this one, we're going to need 41 to 46. And for the second border, we need 31 to 37. 6 inches. Okay, then we're going to cut the border with the green dot. Okay, so for this one, same thing. We're going to sew all of these together, but we're going to include 17 here. So 17 and 31 are going to go together. So I'm just going to stack these up here for you. So 31, then you're going to have 41, then you're going to have 32, 42, 33, 43, 34, and 44, 35, 45, 36, 46, and 37. So we're going to sew all of those together to create our right side border. So I'm just going to move these down closer to me. So again, I'm just going to sew them in pairs first, and then I'll just keep sewing them together until my full border is sewn together. So we're starting with 17 and 31. Okay, so I've got all my pairs sewn together, and now I'm just going to sew a pair to a pair and just keep on building my border. Again, make sure that your numbers are all right side up. Goes to 41. Okay, so we've got our second border all sewn together. So just make sure your numbers are all in order. So you should have 17 right to your left. And then it should work to 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. So that's your second, or your right side border. So again, these just need to be pressed, and I would just press them all one way. I'm going to do that in a little bit. I'm just going to put mine to the side, and then we're going to carry on with our bottom border. So we're going to grab those two, and those ones are your heart, red heart, and your yellow star. So again, your star should be on the left side and your heart should be on the right side. So we're going to start cutting as soon as we get our labels together. So for this one, we're going to need from 61 to 66. And from 51 to 57. Okay. So I'm going to start with my heart strip. So again, we're just cutting 6-inch pieces all the way across, 6-inch squares. And we're just going to label them as we go. So this one is going to be 57. So we're working in reverse order here. It's 51. So I'm just going to move those up and bring this one down. So this one is 66. And again, we can remove these two labels. Okay, so again, we're going to put these in order. So your bottom border is going to be from 66, from 51 to 66, starting with 66, or we're going in reverse orders where we can start from the other end. So 51, and then you're going to have 61, 52, 62, 53, 63, 54, 64, 55, 65, 57, 66, and 57 is going to go on to our left side border. So we're just going to leave that one to the side for now. So same thing, we're going to sew all of these together. So I'm just going to move these over here. So I'm just sewing my 56 to my 66. Alright, we have our bottom border finished. So again, you should have 51 on the right side and 66 on the left side. So they're actually going in numerical order from right to left. So you should have your 51, 61, 52, 62, 53, 63, 54, 64, 55, 65, 56, and 66, all in order. So again, you're just going to press that. I'm going to press mine in a little bit. I'm going to show you how to set up our right side border. And then we're going to go and press them and put them on our quilt. So we should have 2 pieces left, and that should be your panel 2 left side and panel 4 left side border. So again, we're referring to page 8 of your pattern. So your square should be on the right side, and your yellow heart should be on the left side. The right side, sorry. So yellow heart right side, red square should be on your left side. And again, we're just going to cut 6-inch squares. We'll get our labels ready before we start cutting again. So this one, we're going from 77 to 71. And from 81 to 86. All right, so we're going to start cutting with the red square border. So again, just 6-inch squares. And that one is 71. All right, so I'm just going to move these up and bring down the other one. So this is the one with our yellow heart. And again, we're cutting 6-inch squares. Just going to press this out. So again, make sure your yellow heart is on the right side. And again, we're cutting 6-inch squares. And that one is 81. So again, we're going to set these up to sew in numerical order. So you're going to start with your 86, actually your 77 is going to be at the top, then your 86, then 76, then 85, 75, 84, 74, 83, 73, 82, 72, 81, 71, and at the very right, you're going to put the 57. You can also remove these other 2 tags at this time here, your panel 2 and panel 4 stickers can come off. So again, you should have 77, and you're working your way down to 71 and then adding on the 57 at the end. So we're just going to sew those together. Again, all in order. All right, we've got our last border piece together, our left border. So again, you should have from 77 to 57 on your right side. And again, your numbers should be going in order from right to left numerically, so from 71 to 86. And again, we're just following page 8 of the pattern, so just make sure your numbers are all in these order here as on the diagram. So I'm going to go press mine and I'll be right back. Hi everyone, I'm back. I've got my borders pressed and we're ready to put our top and bottom borders on first. So again, the first thing we're going to do is measure our quilt, top, middle, bottom, add those three numbers together, divide by 3 to get the average. That number that you get will be what the size of these borders need to be for your top and bottom. So you may have to do a little bit of adjusting depending on the size of the width of your quilt. I've measured mine, taken the average, and it's 66 inches. And that's what these borders should be, is 66 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and sew mine on. So again, when you put these on, make sure that you're going to put them on the right way. There's a top and a bottom to them. So this one's going to go like this. So your 11 is going to be on your left side. And your number 26 is going to be on the right side. So you can kind of see here the petals are coming down into the panel. So if you'd have this reversed, it would look funny because your petals would be upside down. So same thing with your bottom border. And also another very visual reference is your numbers should be right side up on your tags. Same thing with your bottom. So if your numbers are right side up, you should be fine for the bottom. So the bottom one should be going on, and I'm just pinning on top of the quilt here so you can see. So again, your petals now are going down, and so it's looking like a flower towards the center of the quilt. And again, those numbers are right side up on your labels, and you have 66 on the left and 51 on the right. So we're going to sew those two on. Once you have those two on, you're going to measure your quilts again from side, middle to other side, add those three measurements together, divide by 3. That's going to be the average of those three numbers, and that's the measurement that you want those two side borders to be. So again, you're going to take your side borders, and I've got mine here. So your side one's going to be 17 is going to be at the top. And your 37 is going to be, I think I have it up here because it fell off. 37 is going to be your bottom square. And then on the left hand side, you're going to have 77 at the top. And you're going to have your number 57 at the bottom. So again, so you can see how your petals are all going towards the center of your quilt. So we're going to go put those borders on, and we'll be right back. Hey everyone, we're back with our quilt. We've finished putting our borders on. So if you've gotten this to this point, congrats, give yourself a pat on the back. It was a journey for sure. It's a cool quilt to make, and it's definitely challenging in parts. So if you've got to here, great. So we talked about at the beginning of this class that we had kitted the kit with 5 panels, just in case you ran into some issues during your quilt. So at this point of the game, you either have a full panel, which I don't have because mine looks like this. So you can see we encountered a few problems, but this is why we've kitted the 5th panel in the kit. So however, those of you who have made it through the journey and have a full panel at the end, way to go. You can either use that 5th panel to make a totally different quilt, like you can do whatever you want with it, or you can definitely use it on the back of the quilt and float that panel somewhere in your backing, which would look really cool, because then you can show people, hey, the front of my quilt was made with 4 of these. So that's kind of a cool idea. Or you can choose to cut this panel up into strips and do some border play to make your quilt bigger if you're wishing to make your quilt any bigger. I would suggest to put another dark border, like the color of your sashing, around this last border that we've put on, and then use your quilt to either just do partial corner borders at the top and the bottom, and then just put some more dark sashing in between, or you can do some whatever you want with the border. You can definitely have a lot of fun creating a border with the remaining panels. So definitely not a lost item. You can definitely have some fun with that extra panel. So again, if you're looking for some more ideas or whatever, find us on Vimeo. We've got some free videos going on. We've got some new classes coming up. So go ahead and find us on Vimeo or on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're always got some stuff going on. See you next time.